痛いよナミ話してよ
チャンネル登録してね。
ナミ
Car D Kaizoku.
This video is brought to you by Adakai TCG. Shop the latest in premium holographic textured custom One Piece cards. Designed for collectors, crafted to stand out. Use code CARDKaizoku for 15% off your next order. This video is sponsored by gumgum.gg. Discover Western OP10 lists and Eastern OP11 lists on gumgum.gg. Updated daily. Be the first to see decks for new leaders as they emerge. With over 1,000 deck lists per set, gumgum.gg has all the top strategies as soon as they drop. This video is sponsored by Card Market, Europe's largest online marketplace for trading card games. Oh, every single leader in OP12 has now been revealed. It's all 6 of them here. We have starting in no particular order, but it's the random order that my deck builder put them in. They're in my deck builder, by the way, deckbuilder.cardkaizoku.com. Just the leaders for now, because I don't want to manually enter every other card. But yeah, Red Silvers Rayleigh, and then Zoro, Green Zoro. Then there's Blue Purple Sanji, and then Mono Blue Kuzan, Purple Yellow Don Quixote Rosinante, and then Black Yellow Koala. I tried doing it in the order of the colors, but I think I kind of got mixed up there. But yeah, it's 3 monocolor and 3 dual color leaders in this set. So let's go over each one by one, take a look at the leaders and potential synergies with the existing amount of cards that we have in the current card pool. That's OP01 all the way up until OP11 at the moment. And then there's some support in the set itself that's gonna play a big role into these decks too, so we don't have too much insight into that because I think it's still like a month away from releasing. Yeah, it releases in Japan and the Asia English regions on May 31st. I think we don't get it until August 2025, if that puts anything into context for you. But yeah, the theme of the set is Master and Disciple, I believe, Legacy of the Master. So yeah, Silvers Rayleigh trained Luffy during the 3Y2D, or is it 2Y3D? During the time skip. For Zoro, he was trained by Mihawk. For Sanji, I saw Zeph cards for Sanji, but he was trained by Ivankov during that time skip. And then characters that weren't part of the time skip, like Rosenante, he mentored Law. And then for Kuzan, I'm guessing it would be Garp. And then Koala, I'm not too sure. I know she was trained in Fishman Karate by Hack. But if Rayleigh is like the master here and not the disciple, then like could be Koala and Robin, because Koala did train Robin in Fishman Karate. Who knows? But yeah, these are the 6 leaders here. And then with these 6 leaders, it's something we do kind of every set when they introduce all the leaders. We'll put them on a tier list here. We have 4 tiers broken down by whether they have a high meta likelihood, whether they could be meta depending on the support printed in OP12, whether they are cope leader, right? Leaders that I want to be good but probably won't be good, and then dead on arrival, leaders that I can't even justify coping for. So yeah, let's just start off with Rayleigh here. So Rayleigh is a mono red, 5,000 power 5 starting life leader. As leader ability reads, you cannot have cards with a cost of 5 or greater in your deck, according to the rules. And then activate May once per turn. You may reveal 2 event cards from your hand, give it to one of your characters with a base power of 4,000 or less plus 2,000 power during this turn. Well, based off of just the leader ability, it is a very restrictive leader ability because not only does it affect your deck building, you can't have any 5 cost or greater characters in your deck, right? Or events either. Judging by the way that this fan-made proxy is translated, it sounds like it's events as well. And then for that part, you're already restricted. And then activate main, you have to reveal 2 events. You have to run a lot of events in your deck to get use out of this effect consistently. And then you can only buff something with the base power of 4,000 or less for 2k. And on top of that, you have to be wearing shorts and not jeans. And you have to be wearing glasses. And you have to be an Aries, retrograde, whatever that means. And then your MBTI has to be INFP. To activate this effect. It's just so restricted, right? How many conditions do you need to get plus 2k power for free? So yeah, just first impressions, like it's not even a good generic effect. It's so restrictive. There's like so many layers of requirements you have to meet to even just get a measly plus 2k power. And then when you see like leaders like the Star Trek 21 Luffy, he gives 2 rested on to a character, right? That's plus 2k power. Also like Dragon does too, right? This Dragon, you can put 2 of the currently attached on from Dragon onto another character. So these can already give plus 2k power for free without any of the other like restrictive requirements that Silvers Rayleigh has baked into his leader ability. And to be honest, I don't know if they could print anything in OP12 for the like former Roger Pirates or whatever archetype he's going to be in that would make him viable, right? Because anything that would buff Silvers Rayleigh would probably buff Dragon and Luffy too, right? Or any other like mono red deck who doesn't have all these arbitrary restrictions placed on the leader ability. So that's why they have to print cards like this where like this event only works on Silvers Rayleigh, the leader, right? That's how far you have to take these kind of effects. You have to like restrict it not on just red leaders, not on just 5 life leaders, not on just what is he? Slash type leaders. It has to be particularly Silvers Rayleigh, this character. And this lets you look at the top 4 cards of your deck and reveal up to 1 red event, or up to 1 cost 3 or greater character card and add it to your hand, then place the rest in the bottom of your deck in any order. But it also lets you attach a Dawn to your leader. It's kind of weird how the 0 Dawn event works, right? Because if you can't attach an active Dawn to your leader, you can't get the search off. So it's like you're attaching Dawn to your leader anyway. I'm pretty sure there's some distinction of why it has to be done this way. But yeah, you can't have cards with the cost of 5 or greater anyway. So you're stuck between cost 3 and 5 with this searcher. So even this very first uncommon card that they're showing for the Rayleigh deck doesn't seem to make sense to me. Unless the entire deck is just 3 to 5 cost characters, I don't know. But yeah, for now, I don't think I can even cope him. He might be dead on arrival, to be honest. It's gonna take a lot of like really targeted, only servers really can run these cards kind of cards to make this deck even viable, I think. And then they would have to print that all in OP12, right? It could be that like OP13 prints the like latter half of what he needs to become a meta deck, like similar to Lim. Lim wasn't playable on release, but OP10 made her playable. Could see that with Rayleigh. I don't think they would have a complete deck for this kind of archetype in one set. IMHO. Right, let's move on to the second leader here. We have Zoro. So 5000 power, 5 starting life, mono green, Dawn times 3, activate main once per turn. If this leader has battled your opponent's characters during this turn, set this leader as active. Then this leader cannot attack characters with an original cost of 7 or less during this turn. So he can attack twice. It's similar to this Hawkins from the starter deck, right? If it attacks an opponent's character, you can set him as active. Zoro can't attack the same target if it's a 7 cost or less character though. Original cost if that matters, but I don't think green has a way to cost reduce anyway. Unless this is foreshadowing something. Oh no, it's probably for, there's some black cards that plus their cost, so this allows them to, it would protect them, right? Right, if they're a Jack, 7 cost plus the 4 cost he has on board, this one here, he would be an 11 cost for all intents and purposes, but Zoro treats him as a 7 cost, original cost, right? So Zoro can't attack into Jack twice. So that's actually a detriment for Zoro, checking on original cost. Huh, okay. But he can attack twice. That means he can always attack a character and then attack their leader after. For the price of not having 3 Dawn to use for the turn. That would depend on if there's a lot of green cards that can put Dawn on leader, but at the moment, I don't think there are. Bear with me for a second. Let's see. Green, rested, and Dawn. Anything? Okay, we have stuff that can keep the Dawn itself rested, but it doesn't manipulate rested Dawn, I don't think. Okay, if you guys can read quick enough and you spot one, let me know. And then I'll use my time machine and then edit the video after the fact to catch it. Oh, maybe this Perona works, right? On your turn, once per turn, if a character is rested by your effect, set up to one of your Dawn is active. And then, yeah, since we're able to get like a free attack on a character and then attack their leader afterwards, we're probably going to run a lot of rest effects, right? Stuff like this Yamato here can rest a 6 cost. Wait, this is Zoro that does something like this too, right? Yeah, from starter deck 12. Dawn times 1 when attacking, rest of one of your opponent's characters with the cost of 6 or less. So you'll put Dawn on this Zoro and then rest one of your opponent's characters, get a Dawn back from that Perona, and then use that on leader, but then you need 2 more. But yeah, judging from the cards that they revealed, like this Perona for OP12, it's looking like Zoro's going to be like a slash attribute style deck, not particularly a Zoro type deck, unlike the Silvers Rayleigh event that was particularly only for Silvers Rayleigh. This one lets you look for any slash attribute or a green event card of any cost. There's also like a Hiyori that does the same thing. It's a tap searcher, but this one only works if your leader is Zoro. But yeah, it's slash or green events. So I'm gonna assume they're gonna print like some dedicated event for Zoro that can put rested Dawn onto him or something. I could have sworn there was like a Tashigi card or a Kuina card that does give him the 3 Dawn he needs, but I could be tripping. I couldn't find the image for it, so maybe I made it up. But yeah, what do I think of Zoro though? Well, based on the current card pool, you do have to run like a lot of these effects that rest characters to get use out of his leader ability, and then you probably can't use it until late game, right? Because you need 3 Dawn to spare on top of whatever else you're playing for the turn. Is it ever the case where you're just attacking characters on board and never like developing anything big? That could be the play style, but then like if you can't remove what your opponent plays, then you just fall like so far behind. Right, it's not a problem with black decks like Lucci and starter deck 14 Luffy because they can like outright just kill something. They don't have to worry about if your opponent has enough counter to save it. Meanwhile with Zoro, yeah, they can counter out of it. And then if they counter out of it, you're kind of like SOL, shit out of luck. So this one might depend on the support, or is it cope tier? I might be biased because Zoro is one of my favorite characters, but I'm gonna put him in depends on support. Right, if there's a bunch of ways to put rested on into leader and rest characters on board, and if I have to be like super overly critical, like none of the leaders that like depend on the leader itself doing all the heavy lifting like Yamato Yamato the leader, right? Double attack, you want Yamato to do most of the damage to like hurt your opponent, or Robin. Robin has banish, she does a lot of the heavy lifting and doing leader damage. Neither of these decks are too meta, with Zoro be like the exception. I mean, he does have one extra life to start with. I'm gonna put him on depends on support. And yeah, if you guys disagree and you think I'm just biased, that so be it. It's my tier list, so no big deal. You can think that. Up next we have, let's look at the monocolor. So Kuzan, 5000 power, 5 starting life, mono blue. When you trash cards from your hand due to your navy card effects, you may draw an equal number of cards that were trashed due to that effect. Okay, let me look at navy. Exactly navy, and has the word trash and is blue. There is not much. The stainless, you can trash a card from your hand and then rest this character. Bottom deck a 2 cost. So that would draw you a card after you use this effect. It's the waste of human life, lets you bottom deck all 3 costs on board, and then both you and your opponent trash cards until you have 5 in hand. This might be interesting because let's say both of you have 10 cards in your hand and you play It's a Waste of Human Life. They'll go down to 5, you'll go down to 5 and then draw 5. So you'll be back at 10. But yeah, without black cost reduction in this Kuzan deck, probably won't be using this unless like Zoro overtakes the meta or something. Aramaki can draw you 1 card. It cycles a card for you. He has blocker, and then you can bottom deck a 2 cost or less and plus 3k to a character at the price of 1 discard. So yeah, that would cycle a card. That's not the worst thing, right? You have a blocker and a 3k buff and a cycle. Tsuru might be the best card that uses Kuzan's effect. Trash 2 cards from your hand and you can make your opponent bounce one of their characters. They can pick, but then if they only have like a 1 big thing out, you bounce it back. And this would draw you 2. It makes this a free effect. But that's kind of it. That's slim pickings for navy type trash effects, self-trash effects. I think they did reveal 1 navy card so far. It's another Kuzan, 6 cost, 8k power. If you have 5 or more cards in your hand, this card just gets plus 1 cost. Okay, that's usually a black effect, but it's in blue now. So he's a 7 cost on board, and then you may trash 1 card from your hand. Up to 1 of your opponent's characters cannot attack until the end of your opponent's next turn. Okay, so this cycles a card and makes one of their characters not able to attack. So it's like Boa Hancock. 6 cost 8k, same stat line. But this can affect actual Monkey D. Luffy characters. But Boa can bottom deck a 1 cost. What was the other part of the on play? Oh, but he's a little stickier being a 7 cost, but is that worth it? I don't know, Boa is hotter, so. Kuzan, I think this might depend on the support too, just because, like, as we saw, literally, there was barely any cards besides the Tsuru that worked in this deck. But in the end, it's just negating the downside of some of these effects. But the upside should be really worth it. Discarding 2 cards is like really steep. It's just the fact that there aren't many already in the game. This one might be depends on support too, to be honest. Okay, up next is Blue Purple Sanji, the first dual color leader here, 5000 power, 4 starting life. Activate main once per turn, Dawn -1. Activate up to 1 Straw Hat crew type event card from your hand with an original cost of 3 or less. Can event cards have modified costs? So when attacking, if the number of Dawn cards on your field is equal to or less than the number of your opponents, you can add up to 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck and rest it. Okay, so it ramps you a Dawn when you're at less Dawn than your opponent. That makes it so that if you're playing against like Green Purple Luffy and Reiju, you don't have a win attacking because they're probably gonna have less Dawn than you. And then activate main, you can Dawn minus to get a free event. Straw Hat, let me look at that up. Straw Hat crew, and then event, and then a cost of 1 to 3, and then blue and purple, right? Yeah. Okay, what do we got? Do counter events work? I don't think so, right? It's only activate main effects. Otherwise, like if you attack with Sanji and you activate Gum Gum Giant, do you become a 9k attacker? But I'm pretty sure like counter effects only works on the counter phase, right? So I don't think you can play a counter effect when attacking. So if it's activate mains, you can further drill down. So that gives us 8 cards here. Let's see, what does this one do? Okay, so it gives leader plus 1k, then reveal top card of your deck, and then you can play it if it's a 2 cost. So maybe that's not going to be used in this deck. What else? Gum Gum Lightning. So you can Dawn -2 and KO is 6k. But you're already Dawn minusing 1 for that effect, so Dawn -3, and then hopefully if you have less Dawn than your opponent, you ramp 1, rest it back. Maybe that's worth it, but then you're like stuck at that number of Dawn, right? Because Dawn -2 sets you back 1 turn. Gum Gum Jump Rope lets you rest a 5 cost or less. Dawn -2 as well, so maybe not as worth it. Follow Me and I Will Guide You lets you search top 5 for Dressrosa. So that's probably not going to be used because he is Straw Hat Crew and Vinsmoke. What about Special Long Range Attack Bagworm? Okay, draw a card and bounce at 2 costs. I don't think that's going to be playable. Let's Crash This Wedding lets you search top 5 for a Straw Hat, maybe, right? Probably going to be Straw Hat focused deck. Gungam Jet Culverin lets you bounce a bottom deck of 4-drop. Okay, this is probably like the most viable target for Sanji so far. Then Gear Second lets you ramp, but you need to have 3 Dawn. Oh no, you need to have 2 Dawn, right? Because it gets played for free for the 1 Dawn part, and then the 2 Dawn part is the activation effect of Gear Second. So you can ramp, and then how does the ordering work? So activate main, and then you ramp 1, and then when attacking, you ramp another 1. So in total, you're net +1 Dawn. That doesn't sound worth it at all. Okay, they're gonna need to print something for this leader to make it worth it. Literally, the only good option here is Gum Jet Culverin. They did print a Zeph card. When one or more of your Dawn cards is returned to your Dawn deck and your leader is Sanji, this character gains Rush. So that doesn't really play with the leader ability too much. You just have a 4-cost 5k Rush attacker, which I don't think is what the deck needs. There's also this Robin card. On play, kill out to one of your opponent's characters that costs 3 or less, and if you do this, you ramp them. Or they can choose to ramp. Why would you not ramp? I guess with this Robin, you pop a 3 cost, and then that when attacking criteria is always going to be met because they're going to have more Dawn than you. But I don't think I want to ramp my opponent. So yeah, I don't know. The cards they printed so far for Sanji don't seem to do much for Sanji himself. I want to say it depends on support, but then you're having to run a bunch of events in your deck, and they're all going to be bricks and stuff. And we've seen Ace not do well. I don't think this Rayleigh's going to do well. So Sanji might be cope tier actually. Right, it's going to take some really broken events to make them work. But then, yeah, at the end of the day, you're running a deck full of events at that point. Okay, up next is Don Quixote Rosenante. So dual color purple yellow. 5,000 for starting life. Once per turn, if your Trafalgar Law would be KO'd, you may add the top card of your life pile to your hand instead. Ooh, interesting. Activate main once per turn, Dawn -1. During this turn, the next time you play a Trafalgar Law from your hand with the cost of 4 or more, it will have its cost reduced by 2. What the heck? Okay, so it's a Trafalgar Law character based deck. How many Trafalgar Law that's hard to say, cards are there? Character, color, purple and yellow. So there's 6 to pick from. There's this one that lets you search top 5 for Heart Pirates. This would not get affected by the leader ability because it's not 4 cost or more. Then the Straw Hat and Heart Pirate Searcher. So these would get affected, right? So the 7 Law from OP10 would become 5 cost 9k. That's not bad at the price of Dawn minusing 1. If you get this out early on like your 3rd turn, does that buy you a lot of time? And then it heals you too if you run other Supernova cards in your deck, but you don't get that rested Dawn. You could run the 2k counter Law. This becomes a 2 cost 5k. This promo Law becomes a 2 cost 6k blocker, and it also ramps you Dawn. Oh, so this pays for the Dawn -1 part of Rosenante's effect. This promo card was like made for him. And then of course the starter deck 10 Law that makes your opponent discard 2 cards. This is good just to be a threat against like big hand decks anyway. So how would that work? So if you go first on your 2 Dawn turn, you can play out one of these 4 drops for 2. So say you play this one, you'll Dawn -1 going down to 1 and then ramp you back up to 2. Then on your 4 Dawn turn, I guess you can't really play 2 things. So you just play one of these 4 drops on its own. Then on your 6 Dawn turn, you can play a 4 drop and then treat the other one as a 2 drop. Is it a swarm deck? They did reveal this Rosenante alt art. It's just a searcher for the deck. Looks at the top 5 for a Law card, only for Law. It's a very targeted kind of deck here. There's also this counter event that gives plus 2k. And if you have 2 or less life cards in your life area, add up to 1 Trafalgar Law from your trash to your hand. Okay, more Law support. And then they revealed like this SR Law today actually. So 7 cost 8k power, it would become a 5 cost 8k. On play, if the number of Dawn cards you have in play is equal to or less than your opponent, you can add 1 as active, so that pays for the leader ability cost. Then your Rosenante and your Heart Pirates type characters get plus 1000 power to the end of your opponent's next turn. Oh, okay. So it buffs your leader, it makes it a 6k base for the turn, and all your characters too. So maybe it is a swarm deck, right? We play the 4 drop on 2, and then we play a 4 drop on 4, and then a 4 and a 2 drop on 6. Then on 8, you play this Law to give everything plus 1k. I don't know. That doesn't sound like it would be good unless they release like a Luffy Taro for Law, right? There's a Luffy Taro for Rosenante from OP10, right? These 2 here. So maybe there's going to be a Rosenante that plays out a Law card like this. But barring that, it's like slim pickings on what we had, right? Law, let's bring that back up. This one might be cope too, because yeah, none of the previous purple and yellow cards can really help this deck because it's like targeted to like Trafalgar Law characters only. So all the support's going to be in this set, and it seems like it's targeted to how good these Law cards are, and then I mean, the past slot cards aren't bad, especially this one here. It synergizes really well. This might be a cope as well, unfortunately. But who knows? Maybe they'll release like some super busted secret rare law that makes this deck viable. In which case I'll change my mind. But based off what we know now, he's a cope leader for sure. And then lastly we have Koala, Black Yellow Koala, 5000 power for starting life. When this leader attacks your opponent's leader, if you have 2 or more characters with the cost of 8 or more, draw 1 card. Once per turn, when your opponent plays a character with an original cost of 8 or more, or when your opponent plays a character through an effect of a character, you may activate this effect. Your opponent adds the top card of their life to their hand. What the heck? Huh? This straight up just counters like Luffy Taro, right? And decks like that. Right, Luffy Taro plays another 5 cost Straw Hat Crew type card from your hand. If they do that, they take a life, according to this Koala. So this cancels out Swarm decks? It has to be via a character though. So like Doflamingo's leader ability. This guy here, that would still be okay, right? Because it's coming from a leader. But if it was like a Jinbei, which is banned, so maybe they printed Koala as a counter to Doflamingo because of Jinbei, but they banned the card in the end anyway, right? He can play an extra 7 Wilders of the Sea type card out. That would make them take a life. Or if they just play something with 8 cost or more. So this is good against like Shanks and stuff too, right? They can't play their 10 drop Shanks, either of them, or even their Rayleigh. They can't play that either. What the heck? Is this card allowed? It's kind of like Blackbeard in a sense. His name is Teach, not Blackbeard. So yeah, Blackbeard, your opponent can't play on plays. Koala makes it so your opponent is severely punished for playing cards that poop out extra bodies or cards that are just big costed characters. Everyone runs big costed characters, so this hits them. Right, the decks that aren't affected are like Doflamingo, Zoro, Lim. Current Lim builds aren't affected by this, so yeah, this is just outright. If you face this in a tournament, if you get matched up against the Koala, you're just out. And the thing is, this Koala doesn't have any like cost associated with her leader ability. It's just for free. It's something that's always active. She doesn't have to pay anything, no dawn minusing, no having to attack. So yeah, that in and of itself is already pretty nice. But I guess the downside is like being a black and yellow leader, like yellow's all about triggers, black's all about cost reduction and KOing. This leader ability does nothing for that. So I guess that's the trade-off, right? It's a leader effect that doesn't really help the colors that it's in. I guess that's how they're balancing it. But it's not only punishing your opponent, you're also getting a benefit, right? If you have 2 8 cost or more characters, you draw a card. And yeah, you would think it would be hard to play 2 8 drops out, but then in the Rev Army type in OP12, there's cards like this Karasu. If your leader is Rev Army, it gets +3 cost. So he himself is an 8 cost for 5. And then there's Morley too, who's a 4 cost, who gives himself +4 cost. So he's also an 8 cost. So you can have 2 8 costs even before your 8 dawn turn actually. So it's not hard to get the value of drawing a card. Oh, but it's only when you're attacking a leader, right? So if this Koala attacks a character, you don't get to draw. Okay, that's I don't know. It's too finicky. I don't know how to properly judge it. But just from the once per turn part, like just preventing your opponent or making them have to choose. Like, do I want to take a life to play like my win condition in my deck? That in and of itself might make this a meta deck, right? It might be a high meta likelihood. Just in and of itself, without looking at any of the support in the deck. Would Koala be like a burn deck? Right, there's a kid that makes your opponent just trash a life. There's Hawkins too that makes him trash a life, and then there's the Robin card that makes him trash a life. So you just get them to like a low life total, and then they have to decide, do I want to go to 0 life to play my Rayleigh out, or do I want to keep it in hand and then try to win without it? Yeah, the most interesting leader so far. I feel like she's gonna have like pretty big ramifications to the meta. This could end up being like another ban leader. But we do need a black and yellow leader in the meta since BY Luffy got nerfed to hell, and then Kairos got nerfed because of Ice Age, and then Linlin never really took off. There aren't any other black and yellow leaders, are there? Let's take a look-see. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Yeah, that's what it is. There's no other black and yellow leaders. So yeah, Koala could bring this color combination back from the dead. Well, at least she doesn't have access to Gecko Moria, so at least be glad about that. So yeah, that is my tier list for OP12. Looking at these 6 leaders, Koala is probably going to be the most likely to be meta, and then Zoro and Kuzan depend on their support. Sanji and Rosenante, I mean, they could print something really broken to change my mind on these, but just from what I see now, I don't think they're going to be too great. Then Rayleigh, I would really love to be wrong about this card, but it just seems so restrictive and so hard to like play around, and then the benefit of it is just plus 2k power, which doesn't seem worth it at all. Right, I was pretty spot on about Shanks. Like, Shanks had an underwhelming leader ability too, but his like support made up for it. And I was right on that call, that prediction. But looking at Rayleigh, I can't even like fathom how they could save this leader. Even if he had the most broken cards, the leader doesn't do anything. It would have to be like stuff that's like leader locked to Rayleigh leaders only. And that's not fun either. But yeah, that's where I'm at with my first impressions so far. Let me know what you guys think. If there's any interactions or card synergies that I missed, or if there's like a spoiler I missed that kind of justifies moving some of these up and down a tier, let me know in the comments below. This is also as of like April 21st, so maybe by the time you're watching this, they do reveal something nice, and then you're like, oh, why didn't he notice this? Why didn't he catch this? It's because I can't see into the future, man. But yeah, that'll be it for this video. Am I hyped for this set? Kinda, yeah. Like, Koala is really interesting. I like Koala as a character too. So a little hype. Little hype. We'll just have to see what the SP cards for the set are, and then the alt-arts, and then how the alt-art leaders are going to look like. Usually that is what gets me to buy a set or not, actually. But yeah, until then, we're not getting this until August too, so like, it's going to be a long while until the simultaneous release, and then we can all get excited with the East at these cards at the same time. But until then, that's just how it is. So yeah, also subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. Check out my other videos if this is my first video that you're watching. I mainly do like gameplay videos, but I also do like market videos, other tier lists. I've been having a lot of fun with starter deck 14 Luffy. If you're interested in that leader, I have a deck breakdown and some matches posted with that deck in OP11. Oh yeah, and I can't believe I forgot to plug it. If you want to make your own tier list and you're wondering what this site is, it's deckbuilder.cardkaizoku.com. I coded it, so you can feel the extra love into this tier list maker that I made. It's specifically for making videos, so if it's something you want to use for yourself, for your own videos too, if you're a content creator, feel free, go right ahead. Right, I put it online to share. But yeah, until next time, bye.
Card Kaizoku.